Okay, I lit a candle. I'm gonna put it here. We're gonna have a nice, calm chat. Okay? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. It's actually about like 9 p.m., which is not my usual filming schedule. I usually film when there's daylight and stuff, but I don't really care. This isn't like supposed to be an aesthetic video. This is us chatting. It's gonna be a very hard video to film. It's something I'm very nervous for, but I think it needed to be done, and I will explain myself throughout the whole thing. Of course, there is a trigger warning. Please don't watch this if you are not comfortable with it. I will not be going into detail and graphics. I'm just going to be explaining the mindset behind someone who wants to hurt themselves for some reason, or maybe a loved one you need help figuring out what to do or how to help them. This is for that. This is supposed to be helpful, but huge trigger warning. If you are too fragile to listen to this right now, please don't. Please, I trust you. You need to put yourself first. This is a video that I couldn't even imagine myself filming even a year ago. Like, not even close. I would have not been strong enough, and part of me is like, okay, you're still not strong enough, but I'm gonna do it because I know a lot of you need it, and a lot of people need to hear it, even if they don't even have a mental struggles or mental illness, whatever. I think it's important for the taboo to be taken away from it and for people to openly talk about it without it feeling scary. So the reason I'm filming this is because I don't think I've hurt myself in about a year. I could be wrong, but I think it's around that, which I am so incredibly proud of myself for. And the reason I wanted to film this was because I did something today that was supposed to make me so happy, and it did, but tonight has been really hard. Super anxiety inducing, super sad, and I got the urge for the first time in a while, and I was like, you know what, I don't want people to feel alone anymore. It's something that I haven't talked about. I get messages all the time about it, but I've never really addressed it, and yeah, I've been hesitant to make this video because ever since I've started to share my mental health problems online, which was a long time ago, like I would say as it was becoming less taboo to talk about it, and it was amazing and very rewarding and very scary, but also came with a lot of scrutiny and judgment and people you know, calling me crazy, calling like me as a person invalid because I have mental illness. And I've made a vow in 2021, and I have been doing it in 2020, and I will continue to do it, is not share my personal experiences when it comes to like anyone else in my life. Like, I don't want the world to know my business. I want to really keep to myself. And I also for a while was like, I'm not talking about mental health anymore because it just allows for people to make me feel even worse about myself and like hit me where it hurts. But I realized that I get so many messages of people saying that I help them, that like I'm doing a disservice to myself and other people by not talking about it. So I decided, I was like, I can still talk about it, but just not talk about like my personal experiences, so I can keep it kind of like what I've learned through my experiences in therapy, and you know, the brain of someone who's had mental health problems for over a decade, without talking about my personal experiences, so I can still be somewhat helpful without being too vulnerable, because I genuinely think the internet is why I have most of the problems that I have. Well, not the reason, but a big factor. So yeah, just respect that this video is extremely hard for me to make. So just be nice. And most importantly, this is not for attention. I am fine. Please, for God, the love of God, don't even message me saying, are you okay? Because I'm fine. This is not for sympathy. This is to help you. This is for you. This is not for me. Okay? Just clearing that up. This is not about me. There's no secret message of pity me or help me. No, I'm okay. It's just something that I've gotten so many messages about, and something that I always thought it would be so fucking scary to talk about. But I think I need to. And we're going to talk about it in a chill way. It's going to be okay. But yeah, so first let's talk about what it is. It's when someone deliberately hurts themselves as usually a emotional outlet. And when I was growing up and you hear about this, you're like, what the fuck? You know, you're not educated about this in school. You can pretend you are, but you're not. Like, they don't do a good job, at least when I was in school. So I always thought it was like only like emo and goth kids like cut themselves in. Whoever does it wants it for attention. Like, it's crazy how naive I was back then. So hopefully maybe someone watching this video will, maybe if they were in the mindset I was, that, you know, people who hurt themselves are crazy, maybe that this can help you realize that they're absolutely not. And what I've learned is that people with mental illness usually know the human brain more than you, because they spent so much time dissecting it and learning it. And sometimes they're the most self-aware people and the most socially aware people. They just don't know how to apply it to their own brain because it can be so emotionally traumatizing and painful. So just keep that in mind, and don't judge people because you probably don't know them unless they're literally your best friend. But regardless, yeah, it's when people, there are different types. There's cutting yourself, burning yourself, punching, bruising. There's more mental ones like over-exercising, overeating, undereating, picking your face. The ones I struggle with most used to be picking my face. Thank God I've stopped that. Picking my nails a ton. It's more of an anxiety thing, but my main self-harm has been cutting. And I think a lot of people know that from like if they've seen me like in person with a short sleeve shirt. I used to edit them out of photos. I don't anymore because number one, they're pretty healed, and number two, I don't want to be ashamed of them anymore. I think they're like battle scars and they show my improvement, and they're like also like a reminder of how far I've come and how strong I am. That's what it is. There are many different forms of it. It could even be mental torture, like looking up things that are going to hurt your feelings, looking up online, or, you know, engaging in toxic things. There's so many different forms of it. But yeah, so that's what it is. Why it is why people do it is also many reasons, but the most common form is an emotional outlet that they can't express verbally or make like feel better. So for me, for example, it was often a way of, it was like a release of energy and a release of that mental pain. And if I felt something physically, I didn't have to think about my mental pain for like a minute. It is absolutely not glamour, like, what's the word? Glamorous. Oh my God. Hello, wake up. It's not glamorous. It is a terrible coping mechanism. And this video is to, yes, take the taboo away, but I don't want to normalize it. I don't want it to be normal. I don't want anyone to use this as a coping mechanism. Oftentimes I've did it instead of wanting to end my life. It was kind of the only way that I could feel something without having to whatever. Or sometimes it's, yeah, as I said, that physical pain. Sometimes it's a control thing. Sometimes people do it because they just want to feel something. They feel numb. So there's tons of ways to do it. There's tons of research online. I'm not going to pretend I'm a doctor or a therapist or a psychiatrist or any sort of mental health professional. This is just what I went through, and maybe there's someone in your life or you that is going through something similar. So I know it's very hard to put yourself in the mind of someone who would want to do that to themselves, and for that you're so lucky. And I would never wish that upon my worst enemy, wanting to hurt yourself. Never. The worst person in the world, someone who's hurt me, I would never wish that upon them. I would never wish mental pain on someone because it's fucking awful. And yeah, over time, it's kind of becomes like an easy way out. And what I want to encourage any of you is to not get into a habit. Don't even do it in the first place, but especially not a habit. It is not a sustainable or effective or safe way to do anything. I have had to get stitches in a foreign country. I should have gotten stitches other times too, but it is not glamorous. It is extremely dangerous, extremely painful. What they don't tell you is you can see it on usually older movies because they're not as smart with mental health, but you know, they see it as like a cry for attention, when often, you know, I'd wear long sleeves and not want to show it. And the worst part is like seeing your parents cry over that. So yeah, it's an absolutely terrible coping mechanism, but at the same time, if you do it, I want you to know that you're not alone, and you should not be ashamed or embarrassed. I just want to encourage you to stop. There are other things that can help, and there are other things that you can do. And I know sometimes it'll feel like the only thing that you can do to make yourself feel better is hurt yourself in some sort of way, and that's just not the case. That is your brain tricking you. There are so many things you can do to calm you down, to slow your heart rate. It stopped recording. Sorry if everything's different. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to find other ways to cope, other ways that aren't going to hurt you and hurt the ones around you and cause even more mental pain, because I know when I would do it, it would ease the mental pain in that moment and then just make it worse when I realized what I had done. And when I had to deal with the pain and the consequences afterwards, it just sucked. There's no point. So please know that you are not crazy if you do it. You are not nuts. You are just suffering, and you need an outlet, and you need resources to feel better. And that doesn't make you crazy. That makes you a fighter, and you should be proud of yourself, not for doing it, but for continuing to live another day. But there are ways to stop. So yeah, what can we do about it? What can we do instead? What can you encourage someone in your life who does it to do instead? It's proven that a really cold or really hot shower will shock your body, specifically cold water, lower your heart rate, and kind of get your mind snap back. So if you're in a panic mode, which is sometimes when I used to do it, you know, you're feeling very manic, a nice cold shower. Force yourself. Exercising. Please don't turn to over exercising, but just releasing some endorphins, getting your heart rate moving. It can really distract your brain, but also just increase your serotonin, make you feel better. Watch your favorite show, distract yourself, call up a friend and talk to them. Just get them to talk to you. Someone who is good with mental health, who understands, who is not judgmental. Get them to talk. Sometimes the voice of someone you know can be really soothing when you're feeling so alone. Something that one of my good friends told me to do, which really helped, was when I was thinking of doing it, I got a pen and wrote down all the names on my wrist as to where I normally did it. Instead, I wrote the names of people who care about me, who would be sad if they saw something bad that I've done to myself. I'd write down my best friend's names and Ben and my parents, and seeing their names made me realize that, number one, I have people in my life who care about me, and if you think you don't, I promise you do. At least one. Even if it's your dog, write down your dog's name. Your dog would not want you to hurt yourself. That really helped me kind of take a second back and be like, whoa, you know, my rational brain, we call it wise mind in therapy. Wise mind is like a nice mix between your emotional brain and your rational brain. So too much of a rational brain, bad. Too much of an emotional brain, bad. So writing out those names really clicked me back into my wise mind of, what am I doing? Who am I going to hurt by doing this? And more importantly, I'm going to hurt myself. And that's, you should not be hurting yourself mentally or physically. And I truly believe that speaking badly of yourself is another form of self-harm too. Being unkind to yourself in any physical or mental way is a form of self-harm and should not be tolerated by you or anyone in your life. And I know it's so hard, but you truly, if you're not kind to yourself, who's going to be? And then when other people, which is a huge problem of mine, when other people are unkind to me, I believe them. I believe the mean words they're saying. I believe even some rumors, because I'm like, oh my god, I hate myself. I have no self-worth. Versus when I love myself and when I respect myself and someone says something negative, I go, okay, that says a lot more about you than me. It's not true, you don't know me. Once again, unless they're your best friend, you don't know them. Write down a list of little things that make you happy, things that are worth living for, things that are like magical almost, you know, sunsets, a good book, a cup of tea in the morning, cuddles with your dog, a roller coaster, like little things. If you don't have access to a shower, grab an ice cube if you can, cold cloth, put it on your forehead to calm you down for that moment so you can at least think a little more rationally, because even the most rational people can feel not rational at times. So once again, you are not crazy at all. You're a human and you're strong and you're going through something, and that's okay. You could draw, you could paint, you could express your emotions, you could journal, but I think the number one thing is learning what your triggers are so that you can prevent it. If there's a more likelihood of you hurting yourself with alcohol, which was a huge thing for me, try to drink less, and if not drinking at all isn't realistic, then don't surround yourself with people who make you uncomfortable when you're drinking. Maybe limit yourself, have a game plan, have a note in your phone talking yourself down, or of course, ideally just avoid alcohol altogether. If you find that you get triggered easily by seeing certain things on social media, on TV, on whatever, making having time away from those things, away from your phone. Social media is not real life. I tell myself that every day, and one day I know I'm gonna believe it. People are fucking mean, but it's not real life. I told you, your best friend, not even acquaintances don't know you. People you went to high school with don't know you. Even kind of friends don't know you. Your best friends and your family and your partners and your dogs know you. Focus on them. They're the ones. No one else's opinions matter. Don't go to someone else. Don't take opinions of other people seriously who you wouldn't go to advice for. I just want you to feel like you are not alone. You are not crazy, but I do want you to stop. And if you can get professional help, please. I don't care what your parents say. If they're going to support you in that, that's amazing. I would love for each and every one of you to have access to professional help. I know that it's so unfair that mental health care isn't free for everyone. Absolutely should be. But if you have access to a therapist, please see one. Put in the work. It's not easy to get better. The same way if you had a physical health problem, there were certain things that your doctor would give to you to improve your health. You have to do that with mental health too. You can't just sit around expecting it to get better and keep on doing these ineffective things in order to get better. My old therapist, I have a new one now because my old one went on maternity leave, but before she did, she had a rule. It was the type of therapist that you could text whenever you wanted, which was amazing. But if you hurt yourself, you, number one, could not reach out to her for support if you've already done it, and you could not text her for 24 hours if you did it. And that sounds harsh, but it is just to encourage people, use the skills that you have learned in therapy or, through self-help books, podcasts. Use those tools to calm down your emotions, get through your emotions, let the emotions pass, rather than going almost the easy way out of what you're used to and hurting yourself. It's a cop-out. It's a dangerous cop-out. It's ineffective. It's sad. It's scary. So yeah, at first I was like, what? Isn't that when I need you the most? But no, you need to learn to reach out for help before and calm yourself down enough that you're able to reach out for help. Call anyone whose voice comforts you. Even professional therapists, they're not there to make you feel better after you did something ineffective and just not helpful for you. They're there to prevent it, to teach you those skills, and to almost, her not replying for 24 hours, it was to show you a lesson. That's really not something that anyone should do to themselves. And that's coming from someone who did it to themselves for way too long, and it sucks. So if I can help you stop it sooner, that'll mean the world to me. Okay, so now on to people who have those people in their lives. Please don't abandon them. Don't pick a fight when they're down. I know they can be hard to deal with, but if you make them feel like a burden, it's going to be worse. So my suggestion is to talk to them when they're in a good mindset, and when they're rational and calm, and talk about the protocol for what to do if they're going through a traumatic episode, a manic episode, a self-harm episode, and talk about what they can do to help you, rather than in the moment being like, what do you want from me? It's going to make them feel like a burden. Try your best to stay calm. Try to just hug them, ask them what they need to do, talk them through. Just sit with them, talk with them, and make sure they know that they are not crazy. They need empathy. They need someone to understand and make them feel like they're not losing their mind, that they're just suffering and they're strong. And it's okay to not always feel strong. You will get through this and the feeling will pass, and I'd much rather it pass without you having self-induced scars or pain or mental pain or anything. You're already going through so much. Please don't make it worse for you in the long run. And yeah, overall, just be kind to each other. If you're the one hurting people on purpose or dragging people down or spreading rumors or in person doing the same thing, hurting people, you don't know what's going on in their head or their mind. You just don't. You might think you do. You don't. You probably know maybe 2% of that person, and you could be damaging them beyond return. And they may never speak about it, and I decided I don't want to speak about my struggles personally. So yeah, just be nice, because you never know what that person is going to go home and think about in their head and how your words or actions or whatever are affecting them. So I'm going to end this video here because I don't want to ramble and I wanted to keep it kind of calm and short and sweet. I hope it helped. I'm okay. I'm totally okay. I don't need people telling me that I'm strong or pity or anything. I know I'm strong. I'm proud as fuck of myself. I want you to tell you instead that you are strong, and tell the person in your life who's suffering that they are strong. Go ask them if they need help, because this video is not about me, it's about them. So I hope it was helpful. I hope that if you're going through something hard right now or going through similar things that I've gone through, that you give yourself a big mental hug. Go look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself, even if you don't believe it, because I truly think the key to becoming a kinder, better, happier person is self-love and being kind to yourself. I've noticed that the nicer I am to myself lately, the nicer I am to other people, and the less I care about little petty dumb shit. So just be really nice to yourself and it'll do wonders. Even if you don't believe it, fake it till you make it. But I love you so much, and once again, go reach out to someone who needs it and give them the love, okay? Because I'm okay, and I love you guys, and please take care of yourself and each other, and I will see you in my next video.